Hibernate architecture. Here you can see Hibernate architecture in a different view. Hibernate is a framework which is used to develop persistent logic which is independent of Hibernate software. In JDBC, to develop persistent logic, we deal with primitive types, whereas Hibernate frameworks, we use objects to develop persistent logic, which are independent database software. Here you can see Hibernate architecture. Configuration. Configuration is a class which is represented in org.hibernate.cfg package. It activates Hibernate frameworks. It reads both configuration file and mapping files. Here you can see the sample code. It activates Hibernate framework here, and it read both CFG file and mapping files here. It checks whether the config file is syntactically correct or not. If the config file is if the config file is not valid, then it will throw an exception. If it is valid, then it creates metadata in memory and returns the metadata to object to represent config file. Session factory. Session factory is an instance which is represented in org.hibernate package. It is used to create session object. It is immutable and thread safe in nature. Here the built session factory method gathers the metadata which is in the CFG object. From CFG object, it makes a JDBC information and create a JDBC connection. Session is an interface which is represented in the Hibernate org.hibernate package. Session object is created based upon the session factory object, that is factory. It opens the connection session with database software through Hibernate framework. It is a lightweight object and it is not thread safe. Session object is used to perform CRUD operations. Transaction object is used whenever we perform any operation and based upon that operation there is some change in the database. Transaction object is used to give that instruction to the database to make the changes that happen because of the operation as a permanent by using a commit method. Query is an interface that represents inside org.hibernate package. Query instance is obtained by calling session.createFactory method. This interface exposes some extra functionality beyond that provided by session.iterate and session.find methods. First, a particular page of the result set may be selected by calling set max result method, then set first result method. Two named query parameters may be used. Criteria is a simplified API for retrieving entities by exposing criterion objects. A session is a factory for criteria. Criterion instances are usually obtained via the factory methods on restrictions. Here you can see configuration is connected to mapping information via add annotation method. Here configuration is connected to DB information via configure method. Here configuration is connected to session factory via build session factory method. Session factory is connected to session via open session method. Session is connected to transaction via begin transaction method. Here session is connected to query via create query method. Session is connected to criteria via create criteria method. Now this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for watching it.